Hi there. Today we're going to briefly talk about how to start a corporation in Kansas with the Kansas Secretary of State. So if you're deciding to form a corporation or incorporate your business um, inside state borders, that's going to be called a domestic corporation. And of course, those who are pre-existing entities who are applying to transact business in Kansas will be considered foreign. Now, all corporation types, whether nonprofit or profit, will need to file the necessary forms with the Secretary of State and pay the respective filing fee. And these, of course, vary from, corporation type to corporation type. Domestic filers will be able to file online. You can also do the PDF form, but you'll have the online option. Therefore, the filing fee can be paid by credit card, while foreign entities will need to file using the PDF form. There's no online option, and you'll have to pay the Secretary of State through check or money order. All filings for corporations should be done in accordance with Chapter 17 of the Kansas State Statutes. If you want, you can click here and familiarize yourself with those a little more. So we have the filing fees listed here. We have domestic profit, $90, $85 if online. Domestic nonprofit is $20. Foreign profit will be $115, and that'll be the same price, $115 for foreign nonprofits. Now, before you start your filing, first thing you're going to want to do is perform a business entity search. What you're doing is you're researching the name that you've chosen for your company to see if it's used by another entity within the state of Kansas. If this is the case and you're a foreign corporation, you're going to have to use a fictitious name, unfortunately, for the entire time that you do business in Kansas. I recommend, obviously, domestic corporations who find that their chosen name has been taken. This could be by a corporation, but it could also be by an LLC or a partnership. Any type of business entity, if they've used your name, you're going to have to change it. If you don't, you're going to be rejected upon your filing. Also, if you think there's going to be a window of opportunity, a window before you actually file with the Secretary of State, but you've made the decision, you've chosen a name, you can perform a name reservation. That'll sort of put your name on hold, so to speak, for a period of 120 days, and it'll cost you $30. So the first step to filing is, of course, downloading the necessary forms in PDF form, or if you're domestic, finding those forms online. Now, it'll be necessary for domestic filers to have an account already with the Kansas Business Center. That can be signed up for super easily. You just provide your email address, your full name, and your personal address, and you'll be able to log into your account and then do any sort of filing of annual reports or getting a certificate of good standing. But we'll cover that in another tutorial. At any rate, click on each one of these. You'll find a separate tutorial for each one of these filing processes. After you've filled out all the forms, you'll need to pay the filing fee. As I said before, online you can do credit card or e-check. Well, if you're doing a PDF form, that means you've filled it out, printed it. You'll need to attach a check or a money order to that page and make it payable to the Secretary of State. Also, following that, foreign entities will need to attach a certificate of good standing to prove their legitimacy to Secretary of State of Kansas. This has to have been issued within 3 months of your filing, and has to be authorized by the Secretary of State of your original formation. Attach all documents together and send them in, if you're doing the PDF filing, of course, to this address down here. Now, once you finish that, there's a few things that you should accomplish. First is the acquisition of an employment and identification number. If you're a foreign entity, there's a good chance that you've already applied for this and that you're operating under one, because it's going to be necessary for you to have one if you're going to open any kind of checking or savings account, apply for loans, renew business licenses. So chances are, if you're a foreign entity, you already have one. Domestic businesses who have just formed, or if business changes ownership, you're going to need to apply for an employment identification number. What this does, it just allows the IRS to identify you for tax reporting purposes. You can do this online. We have a tutorial for that here, or through the PDF application of Form SS4, and there's a tutorial there. Also, immediately after the formation of your corporation, you should draft what is called the corporate bylaws, which is pretty self-explanatory. They're just going to be a list of rules under which your company is going to operate. This can include the initial capital contribution of shareholders, the power of the board of directors, the election of the board of directors. Any provision pertaining to the management of your company will be in the corporate bylaws. So you can see why that might be something that we would recommend that you complete. So if you click on this link here, you'll be brought to a tutorial as well as a free template where you can find our corporate bylaws template in MS Word as well as Adobe PDF. And finally, a renewal of your company needs to be done each year through the filing of an annual report. There'll be a filing fee accompanying this. It kind of changes from entity type to entity type, but it should be around $50 or so. And that's just going to update the Secretary of State of any changes which have occurred over the past 12 months. If you fail to do so and you're late with filing your annual report, you'll default to the status of inactive, and you obviously need to file it in order to regain the status of active and in good standing. If enough time goes by, you'll risk dissolution. But yeah, that's all there is to it. Hope that was helpful. Take care, guys.